faces and some new faces. So just for those who don't know me, I'm Daniel Felstead. So I'm the course leader of the MA Fashion Media and Communication course here-ish, like whatever, at London College of Fashion. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the second summit of this academic year, BODYSTACKED, which is organized and hosted by MA FMC. Just as a thing, FMC is just Fashion Media Communication. If anyone who has any dealings with UAL and probably any other academic institute, they'll probably like acronyms become second nature. So if the BODYSTACKED Summit that was held here in September asked how our bodies and identities are constructed, sustained and transformed as we navigate our way through the expanded universes of digital and physical platform stacks, the BODYSTACKED Summit is focused on the relationships between fashion, AI and our bodies. Such a focus seems pertinent given the increasing attention, entanglement and power yielded to AI and those who control it. So if a week is a long time in politics, then how long is a year in tech? This time last year, we hosted the Hyperbodies Summit, where we were in a collective state of fascination with ChatGPT only recently being launched and the seemingly daily release of new AI models and tools. So a year on, what collective state are we in now? Perhaps something like critical wonder. That is to say, still fascination, but also concern, questions and understandings of what and how AI will impact our lives. Much of the models, tools and discourse around AI has been determined by the ideologies and interests of big tech. However, given the significance that this new, potentially what we can define as a synthetic entity, as AI, is likely to have on shaping our individual and collective life worlds, it seems vital that the implications, dangers and possibilities that AI promise are expanded outside the radius of Silicon Valley, and questions of our bodies, identities and our desires are explored. So through a series of presentations, provocations, screenings and discussions over the next 2 days, the course, invited guests, speakers and friends will explore these issues through various perspectives. So I'd like to just do some thanks and sort of housekeeping. So first of all, I'd like to thank a number of people who have made this summit possible. Firstly, the great speakers who have been so enthusiastic and generous with their time and their great work and thinking. The Lab E20 who have hosted or are hosting this event and have hosted the previous summits. The brilliant graduating MAFMC students and whose a selection of their master's projects works will be shown at intervals and at lunch, etc. Throughout the 2 days, as well as the great first year students whose work or work in progress work is also going to be screened throughout the 2 days. And once again, like finally, my colleague Jen, who has helped organize this summit and has been, again, like incredibly integral to the running of the course. Yes.
Why should we trust you?
You shouldn't. No one person should be trusted here. The board can fire me.
Sam Altman, the co-founder of OpenAI, being forced out by the board.
Do you know why Sam Altman carries this blue backpack everywhere he goes?
Okay, so this is where it gets crazy. They claimed that OpenAI had been using data from D2 to train all its AI models, including the latest GPT-4. And
People underestimate the power of eyebrows.
Take a look at this. Christ, that right there is the mail. Now let's talk about the mail. Can we talk about the mail, please, Malcolm? I'm dying to talk about the
I'm just here to tell you that if you were considering acting out, making questionable decisions, do it. Do it for the plot. Do it to shake things up a little. I will also be participating, so you're not alone.
Welcome back, my angels. So, as a special BODYSTACKED Summit treat, we're going seriously deep on the OpenAI meltdown soap opera. It's a crazy-ass web of intrigue, deception, and conspiracies. Conspiracies involving a clandestine Chinese hacker terrorist squad, a secret Paris sentient AI mathematical genius model, what's in his bag prepper core, and eyebrow physiognomy lore. The events and rumors encapsulate many of the topics explored in my baby girls Jen Loon and Daniel Felstead's slave film Literally No Place, narrated by yours truly. So get ready as we take a trip through Silicon Valley delusion and internet derangement. Okay, so the drama all began on Friday, November 17th. Just as Wall Street is calling it a week, the board of OpenAI, the artificial intelligence research organization founded in 2015, decide to have an urgent get-together on Google Meet. Like, seriously, so unchic. And guess what? They go full-on do it for the plot mode and, like, sack their CEO and co-founder, Sam Altman. Yes, that cuck who featured in our film. Talk about a Friday night pre-game moment. Anyway, I'll let Princess Daniel take it from here.
Okay, so as AI Julia mentioned in her intro, so in this short talk, I'm going to map out a web of conspiracies that emerged as a result of the sacking of Sam Altman by the board of OpenAI. So in order to do so, I've created this my own unhinged conspiracy board, which I'll be using as a guide to guide us kind of through this fucked up drama.
Sam Altman axed as OpenAI CEO, setting off a TikTok storm. This is absolutely crazy. The reason? He wasn't completely honest. Absurd!
Okay, so following the sacking of Altman, the board rushed out a short statement saying, quote, after a deliberative review, a review process by the board, it found that Altman was, quote, was not consistently candid in his communications to the board, causing them to sack him. They later added that Altman's behavior and lack of transparency in his interactions with the board had undermined its ability to supervise the company in accordance with its mandate, though it did not give any examples. So its own lack of transparency fueled speculation about the real reason. As former Google CEO Eric Schmidt stated, you don't fire a Steve Jobs.
What? Well, you can't do this to me.
I started this company.
You know how much I sacrificed?
So on being sacked, reports emerged that Altman was immediately recruited by Microsoft to head a new AI research unit, with the majority of the OpenAI staff threatening to walk out and join Microsoft. Then the original OpenAI board were bodied, with only one original member staying on. And then 3 days after being sacked, and to the delight of the OpenAI staff, Altman was reinstated as CEO, though no longer on the board.
I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving! The show goes on! This is my home! They're gonna need a fucking wrecking ball to take me out of here! They're gonna need to send in the National Guard, a fucking SWAT team, because I ain't going nowhere!
Apparently that is actually what happened in so a new, apparently temporary board were installed, and like all good conspiracy theories, all roads lead to Jeffrey Epstein. So as well as Brett Taylor, the former CEO of Salesforce.com, and Adam D'Angelo, CEO of Quora, the new board includes Larry Summers, the former Harvard president and former Secretary of the Treasury, and allegedly frequent visitors to Epstein's pedo island paradise. I haven't actually seen the documents as to whether he was on that list of whatever, but I assume he was a frequent visitor. And like as a side note, late last year I was told this story by a good friend of mine who was he was at this party somewhere in Mayfair with this billionaire who was a uncle of a good friend of his, and this billionaire very casually mentioned that Epstein was actually not dead at all and was actually alive and living in Sierra Leone. And apparently this kind of billionaire has like regular conversations with him. And apparently, according to this billionaire, like among the kind of elites, this is like well known, and like, yeah, they just know that he's just living in Sierra Leone. So take that as you like, but it's a great story. So I think like to understand this kind of derangement of this kind of sacking, etc., we need to kind of first have a look at the way in which OpenAI is structured. So unlike most tech companies, OpenAI was founded as a non-profit, specifically to resist the traits and traps of the tech industry. So the company was co-founded by Sam Altman and Elon Musk in 2015, with the mission that the development of AI needed to be marshaled very carefully in order to avoid causing harm to the world. However, in 2019, they realized that in order to raise the money needed to undertake the specific types of research that they wanted to carry out and build the models that they needed to build, or they designed to build, they needed a commercial wing to the operation. So they created this kind of a quite complex or a unique nested for-profit entity that they called a capped profit entity under the non-profit organization. So under the OpenAI structure, the board of directors who fired Altman are not beholden to any stakeholders, but are beholden to the mission of OpenAI, which they state as, quote, to ensure that artificial general intelligence benefits all of humanity. So that kind of sounds cute, I guess. However, it's worth stating that there is no actual sort of definition of artificial general intelligence, or AGI, with no shared consensus of what AGI is, and clearly no consensus around what benefiting all of humanity actually means. So as a consequence of this, of OpenAI pegging their mission to these incredibly vague terms, it makes it particularly vulnerable to the West Coast techno-gnostic ideology as outlined in the film. But what about Altman himself? So Altman is part of a Silicon Valley royalty after becoming a superstar over the last 10 years through his startups and his work at Y Combinator, the biggest investment startup incubator, where he became president in 2015. So by all accounts, Altman is a very talented salesperson. However, there seems to be a widely held view that whilst he frequently talks about the desire to benefit humanity, what he actually stands for is still unclear, with criticisms being that he's incredibly opaque, with some calling him duplicitous and little more than an opportunist obsessed with personal power.
Imagine a world where, for decades,
And while admitting that he doesn't fully understand where this kind of AI development will lead, Altman, who is presented as a kind of modern-day Robert Oppenheimer, is very keen to promote the incredible potential benefits that AI could provide. At the same time, Altman has emerged as the public face of AI doomerism after appearing before a Congress hearing in May of last year, where he repeatedly threatened the government with what amounted to regulate us, because if you don't, we will destroy the world and humanity. So this opaqueness around sort of Altman fuels many myths about him. One of those myths concerns Altman's insistence on carrying a blue a backpack with him wherever he goes. So the question we kind of like constantly asked is, what's in his bag? So let's find out. So one rumor is that that this backpack is a nuclear backpack, which holds the code to, quote, save the world from AI, which he can use to remotely detonate data centers around the world if ChatGPT or GPT goes rogue. As well as the nuke code, Sami also revealed that other elements that he keeps in his backpack to stay safe in case of an apocalypse. These may or may not include a pink baby girl Glock 19 pistol, gold bars, antibiotics, batteries, water, Hello Kitty walkie-talkies, a custom GIMP IDF gas mask, and East London girl dinner treats such as tourist truffle crisps and Chin Chin Vio Verde wine. So as I say, some of these may or may not be made up by me. Yeah. And in true Silicon Valley billionaire fashion, Altman has his own prepper bunker hideout, but not in New Zealand like Peter Thiel and the other boys, but somewhere in the Big Sur where he can fly to at a moment's notice. But I've heard from people who say, like, if you're going to have like a bunker, like a prepper bunker, the Big Sur is like a really shit place to have it, apparently, for whatever reasons. But anyway. So another theory floating on the internet is that Sam's untrustworthiness was kind of like hiding in plain sight, given the weakness of his eyebrows, which, according to the shitter Twitter poster, Michael Sanislo, his eyebrows are, quote, a dead giveaway that something wasn't right. Maybe Sam should have taken notes from Duma Rizking and eyebrow maxer Eliza Yukowski, whose eyebrows are far from weak. So this then sent me down like a rabbit hole of eyebrow theory. So yeah. And whilst we're on the subject of personal appearance, there is a related theory that Sam's favourite Henley shirts are linked to his views of AI in general.
Sam Altman's style is Silicon Valley casual, as it should be. But I think that his iconic look is the Henley shirt. Go to his Wikipedia and look at his pic. He has two, the blue Henley shirt of AI responsibility, and he has the gray Henley shirt of AI apocalypse. The two are the aspect of his imagination around AI.
So yeah. Interestingly, when Sam appears publicly with Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, they often wear alternate blue or grey tops. Whether this is a coincidence or not, I'll let you decide. But yeah. So back to the actual kind of conspiracies of his sackings. Or sacking. There are two main conspiracies. The first and the juiciest involve Chinese hackers, shell companies, Joe Biden, and the NSA. So let's go deep. So according to the So according to the rumors, numerous online sources, the reason for Altman's sacking was due to his secret ties to a Chinese cyber army group called Double Dragon, or D2. So D2 are also known as APT41 and many other acronyms or terms. They're a Southeast Asian hacking organization who are thought to be sponsored by the CCP. Classified as an advanced persistent threat, according to the United States Department of Justice, D2 have allegedly compromised more than 100 companies around the world, including Microsoft. This has meant that D2 or APT41 are now on the FBI wanted list, a most wanted list. Though apparently in 2020 they were not powerful enough to be on King K's 7 most powerful hacker groups in the world, but maybe they will get on the list.
Top 7 most powerful hacker groups in the world. Number 7, the Syrian Electronic Army. Number 6, Anonymous. 5, Tah and-Nishan. 4, Dragonfly. 3, APT28. 2, Elderwood Group. Number 1, NSA.
So yeah. So the theory is that OpenAI were running out of like fresh meat to feed ChatGPT. So in order to continue supplying it with data, Sam had been secretly getting a side supply from Double Dragon in order to train its AI models, including ChatGPT-4. This is because Double Dragon has the largest and biggest crawling, indexing, and scanning capacities in the world, apparently 10 times more than Google. So this, under this kind of conspiracy, the data was obtained through a hidden business contract between Double Dragon and a shell company called Whitefly, which are based in Singapore. So according to this theory, the CCP got wind of this deal and for reasons alerted Joe Biden, and then and again, like for reasons unknown, they were given this is kind of unclear as to why they did this, given that Double Dragon were apparently funded by CCP. But anyway, Biden then authorized the NSA to investigate, which they did. And they confirmed that there was this relationship between Altman, D2, and Whitefly. And the NSA then contacted the OpenAI's board that of this kind of authorized use of illegally captured data, and accordingly, OpenAI fired Altman immediately. When asked to provide evidence, the account that posted the conspiracy theory originally came back with, quote, "Sorry, we'll have to be a trust me bro due to sensitivity, but I'm sure we will see it coming out publicly over the next few weeks. You can buy me a coffee for my morning stand-up as an apology," they said. Nothing actually came of that. The other conspiracy involves a secret internal project, Q-Star, that was around building an advanced learning system that was so powerful it spooked the researchers to write to the board of directors warning that it could threaten humanity. So Q-Star is an alleged secret internal project by OpenAI dedicated to the application of AI in logical and mathematical reasoning. According to the tech news site The Information, unlike previous predictive behavioral models such as ChatGPT, Q-Star was able to solve basic math problems that it had not seen before. This would indicate a significant development, as it would suggest a form of synthetic reasoning of and by the model. It was this potential breakthrough that unsettled Elia Suskaya, OpenAI's chief scientist, who reported it to the board. This led to many speculations among the AI utopians and doomers on the Twitter sphere, including a back and forth on X, Twitter, between Mark Andreessen and Elon Musk.
Seriously though, what did Ilya see? Yeah, something scared Ilya enough to want to fire Sam. What was it?
So whilst the details of Q-Star remain a mystery, one conspiracy subplot is that due to an ongoing beef between Sam and Elon, Q-Star was part of a larger project Sam was secretly working on to rival Musk's own Neuralink, which involved the development of an on-chain AI neuro implant chip that linked to his WorldCoin side hustle, presumably enabling us to churn out NFTs on demand as your mind imagines them. And whilst this subplot may have been made up by me, there is some truth in it, as there was recently reported that Altman has been busy trying to develop a new AI neuromorphic computer chip that is inspired by the synaptic system of the human brain. And to circle back to the themes of our film, behind the fantastical conspiracies, there are very real political, economic and material implications in this. So as well as trying to develop this new AI chip, Sam was also courting Middle Eastern investors in order to raise billions to build these kind of new chips. This puts OpenAI directly in a notoriously geopolitically complex chip race. So much so that Sam's move also raised eyebrows in the US government, who are apparently concerned about his potential close proximity to Middle Eastern figures and China. And as a side note, it's also reported that Meta are busy stockpiling computer chips in the sum of 18 billion. This kind of investment and interest in computer chips of various sorts puts OpenAI in a very particular kind of position. Similarly, we recently learned on January the 10th that OpenAI changed its usage policies by quietly deleting its specific ban on military and warfare usage. In the updated version, they state, quote, that they don't use our services to harm yourself or others. For example, don't use our services to promote suicide or self-harm, develop or use weapons, end quote. However, the removal of the military and warfare from this usage policy allows them to work with organizations such as the Pentagon and the US intelligence community on projects that may not directly involve the making and use of weapons, but do involve operational infrastructural services, such as developing cybersecurity tools. Something that Sam and the OpenAI group are apparently very keen to develop. But to end on a kind of cheery note, and like all good like fairy tales, all things turn out dandy in the end, as our boy was named Time CEO of the Year in 2023. So congrats to Sam, totally deserved. Here's what he had to say.
We really do feel just stronger and more unified and more focused than ever. But I wish there had been some other way to get there.
Do you ever see in your dreams all the castles in the sky?